episode as well.
Yes, sir. Most definitely. Hey, y'all, let's get this party started. HBCU Man Cave. Welcome back to another edition of the HBCU Man Cave, your safe space for men to relate, relax, and release. I'm your host for today, Derek Wilmore Jr. from Jackson State University, the I love. Tonight, we're going to get into a topic that may be a little bit triggering for some, but it's very much needed. The internal battle, overcoming negative thoughts that creep in. Everything starts with the mind, and the mentality is connected to the spiritual as well as the physical. One of my favorite quotes is, if you think you can, you will. If you think you can't, you won't. To help us navigate this conversation, I got three brothers that's here and that's going to give us a little insight on their perspective with negative thoughts and how they deal with this issue. Our first guest is educator and politician, Brother Kevin Keys from Miles College. Y'all welcome Brother Kevin back to the show.
How's everybody doing again? I'm Kevin Keith III.
Good to have you, brother. Good to have you. Our second guest is entrepreneur, Brother Daniel Bryant from North Carolina A&T. Brother Bryant, welcome back, or welcome to HBCU Man Cave.
Thank you. It's wonderful to be a part of this program. Just a blessing to be able to share and connect with my fellow brothers.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Glad to have you. Our third guest, finally, is Rich D from Tuskegee University. Y'all, this brother has a very, very inspirational story. I cannot wait to hear about how he navigated his journey. This is something that y'all do not want to miss. Please stay tuned to hear his story. Rich D, thank you. Thank you for coming to HBCU.
No, I appreciate y'all having me. I'm looking forward to, dive in. We're going to be talking about some very important things and some things that, people don't talk about a lot. So, me, with everything I got going on, I'm looking to be a part of it and, help some people, and I'm looking to get some help.
Yes, sir. That's beautiful. Look, we all at some point in life need help.
Most definitely.
I was very, very as for that I did not grow up doing. And so for you to say that, like, we got. And so let's make the best of this space, y'all. Tonight we have three questions that we'll get into. We might get into a little bit more. The first question that we'll get into is, how do you handle negative thoughts in high stress situations? We have daily battles. A lot of the things that we deal with, a lot of people have no idea. And so that's something that we're going to get into. Another question that we're going to get into is the strategies that you use in order to navigate negative issues and thoughts. Our third question is, what advice would you give men who are currently struggling with negative thoughts? And we'll close out and be done. We'll be here for about an hour. Fellas, let's get it. We got three questions that we're getting into. We're going to sit back, relax, and get real on this episode of HBCU Man Cave, where we come to relate, relax, and release. Make sure y'all like, share, comment, and invite other people to join this conversation. Without further ado, let's get to it. Question number one: how do you handle negative thoughts in high stress situations? And anybody can jump in.
All right. So, I love this question because I will be honest, open, and transparent. I've always been. I'm honest. I'm under a lot of pressure right now. With being the youngest educator in the district, I'm a teacher. I was a first-year teacher. On top of running for office, on top of I was trying to finish my master's degree. I finished now. We'll shout out Texas Southern University, but it was a lot of pressure and it was a lot of doubt. A lot of people said there's no way he can run this campaign while still being a teacher. I mean, I had candidates like openly, publicly doubt me, tell me what I can't do or what I wasn't able or I couldn't accomplish. And it took me to actually tell myself, I kept saying, well, why somebody from the east side of Detroit can be a politician? But I had to start thinking, why can't someone from the east side of Detroit be a politician? You know, we said, why couldn't a black man run for president of the United States? And look at what happened. He became the president of the United States. When we look at Kamala, I'm saying they said it's not possible. Guess what? It is possible. Everything tonight going to tie back to that, but I would say like that. I had to learn that at the end of the day, that I got to see it through. I got to see it through. I got to be able to like genuinely be comfortable enough to say that I'm not okay.
Yep.
To say that I got a lot going on. It's a lot on my plate. I need to talk to someone.
Yep.
A lot of times, especially with not only just males, but black males at that, we are always told, and I said this last episode, that we have to be the strongest. We have to be the ones that always are there for the people, and no one's there for us. And we don't talk enough about going to go get a therapist and going to go talk to someone. If I didn't have a therapist, I mean, I wouldn't be able to continue to move. So at the end of the day, I would say that one thing that has helped me is to trust myself and trust God. I asked myself another question of, I say, do I trust God? And I said, well, yeah, I trust God. And I say, well, how can you struggle and how can you stress and how can you feel like you got to worry if you say that you trust him? He says, if you trust me, you should have no fear, you know? And I had to start putting it into that perspective. If I trust God, I can't say anything. Oh, I love y'all too. But at the end of the day, I will say just trusting yourself and trusting God is the best thing that we can do as black men and just people in general.
Amen to that, man. Look, you got to keep God first. And even if you don't believe in God, believe in something. Something has to carry you. Something has to push you forward, whether it be your God, your family, whatever you lean on. And if it's positive, lean on it. And yeah, just push forward. So appreciate that, brother Kevin. But Brian, what you got?
Well, I definitely concur with everything that was said. One thing that I think I've implemented in my life, and something that I urge, all, especially college students, we talk about the word, networking, and we always think in a vertical aspect of, always trying to network with the company CEO or somebody that's higher than us. But I also want to push the narrative of having a horizontal network. People that are going along with you in the journey. Those who may not be all the way, at the top or at the pinnacle where you want to reach, but those who may be going through the same struggles, the same hardships that you are going through. Because with that, that's a different level of belief, a different level of understanding that you can build with someone when they're going in the same journey, right? It might not be in the same pathway, might not be the same hurdle, but they're going through something, right, in their life to reach where they want to reach. And I implore all students, and anybody, it doesn't have to be just a student, but anybody to, surround yourself with those people that are like-minded in the walk of a journey, right? We understand that this is not a race. This is not the first person to the finish line. Life in itself is a journey. It takes steps. It takes turns. It takes pauses. It takes time out sometimes, right? Sometimes you got a penalty on a play. You have to go back a couple yards. All right. So I think it's just, incorporating and building your network horizontally, those who are willing to go through a journey, right? And not just for a short time, but for the long haul. And you build that through, the conversations that you have with people, the experiences you have with people, recognizing the fruits from that person, right? What do they bear out of their labor? What they do in the community, what they say, how they act. Those are the things that you can really pull from people to understand, hey, that's a guy, that's a young woman that's in it for the long haul. This is someone that I want along my journey with me. So I would take that with me.
Excellent, brother Brian.
Brother, you muted. You muted. I think you muted.
Sorry about that. My phone overheated.
All good. So we talking about, brother, how do you handle negative thoughts in high stress situations?
How do I handle negative thoughts in high stress situations? As an entrepreneur, as a wheelchair user, as a a disabled dad, my life is pretty heavy. Especially I don't really take it upon myself to, you know, make it easy on myself and like, you know, I'm gonna just relax and, you know, just lay in the bed or, you know, I'm out doing, you know, a lot of the same things you guys are doing and I'm leading a normal life, you know, so it's pretty stressful. One thing that's very, very important to me, and it's something that I developed, you know, through my injury and, you know, over the course of my 7 years of being in a wheelchair is like my perspective. You know, when something like this, a tragic accident or, you know, something tragic happens, you go through a lot of different thoughts, you know. You go through thoughts like, do I want to live still? You know, is this life worth living? You know, like, you know, how is my life going to change? You know, I can't do this, I can't do that, I can't be independent, you know. So um, my perspective was something that really, really helped me persevere through everything that I was going. And when I talk about my perspective, you know, just having just the ability to adapt and just, you know, don't don't not put not put limits on yourself. You know, everything that I do, from the way I drive my car, the way I use the bathroom, literally every single thing, from the most simplest things to the most complex things. Like everything is adaptive. The way I golf, everything. You know, that's the word in our world is adapt, and everything is considered adaptive and uh, you know, adaptive sports and adaptive this, adaptive that. So everything is literally like surrounded by you adapting to your disability. You get what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And if you can hone that characteristic, you know, you'll find some success, you know, going through a tragic accident or going through something life changing, you know. I feel like a lot of us, you know, we are reluctant to change, you know. We don't really like change as human beings, you know. We like things to stay the same. We like to be comfortable, you get what I'm saying? But the fact of the matter is that life is changing every day around us, from the trees growing. The tree outside your house is not going to be the same in the morning. You get what I'm saying? So, you know, being reluctant to change is really like, um, I don't want to offend people, but it's an ignorant thing. You know, it's you know, and ignorance is it's a harsh word, but it's just not knowing. You know, it's just not being aware. You get what I'm saying? So, yeah, that's something that really helps me. Is just like I say, my perspective, man. You know, that's something that I really just try to make sure that I have on lock. You know, even when I'm flustered or I'm frustrated, it's like, you know, taking a moment to be still and, you know, taking a moment to step back and to think and say, okay, how can I work myself out this situation, and as opposed to balling up and crying and throwing things. And, you know, like I feel like in a lot of our communities, that's what we're taught. We're taught to yell and to be frustrated, and, you know, that's how we get things done. That's how we, you know, and that's something that I'm really like working hard to undo every day, you know, for my businesses, for my daughter, for myself, you know. So yeah.
Man, that was a heavy word, bro. Heavy word. And I know a lot of people feel that. I know I definitely do.
Thank you.
I'm gonna tap back into the comments. Gil OM Trinice said, "I love it." Uh, BABB Ski 14. Ignorance is bliss. Let me scroll up, see what else we had in the comments. Y'all like, share, send this out. Comments. The HBCU Man Cave. We see Tucson Kathy. Your thoughts and opinions are on point. Thank you so much. So we got a lot of action here in the comments. A lot of people that's joining this HBCU Live. Y'all, shout out to these three gentlemen for sharing their experiences on how they navigate negative thoughts. Man, I was thinking about, as all of y'all were speaking, I was thinking about this man named Dr. Masaru Emoto. And so as an educator, this is my favorite lesson. This is the first lesson of every year. So this guy, he studied the power that words had on water. And so he would put out 3 cups, and every day he would speak specific words to each cup. I love you in 1 cup. I hate you in another. And then the 3rd cup he would ignore. After that, for about a month, he froze the water. He put it under a microscope. Y'all look this up. And the water from the I love you cup was a perfect crystal. The water from the I hate you cup it looked like Jason's face. Like it was terrible. It looked nasty. It was all discombobulated. And the cup that was ignored kind of looked the same way. He did the same thing with water on top of rice. He did the same thing with music. And he did the same thing with specific words and actual names. So like Mother Teresa, Perfect Crystal, Hitler, water looked discombobulated. And so I start off with this lesson every single year in my classroom to let students know that even though your mental may be saying something, one way to combat those mental thoughts are to literally speak positivity and life into your situation. We always hear there's life within the power of the tongue. And so speak it, and it's true. And so that I always start off with that lesson. That's one of my favorite historical understandings, because the body is made up of about 70 to 80% water. And so once we speak that positivity, we are literally changing our reality. Question two,
That's
y'all.
real.
Question two. Negative thoughts that we come into, do you recognize these thoughts as a problem, or did it take time to understand its impact?
Well, I guess I'll start. For me, I think we all have personal, stories and testimonies and things that we go through that build us and mold us. But sometimes we don't recognize the power of what we went through until afterwards. And in my case, that happened to me. I was in a horrific car accident, 2019, almost claimed my life. And I didn't really recognize the power of what I just went through and the negative thoughts that were in my head of self doubt, being worried, and even the unknown, just not knowing what would happen, what would I be, what would others think. I didn't really understand the impact until I had an unlocking of myself, right? Not knowing that part of my life when I was at my lowest and I felt like I was broken, that was going to be the stepping stone to reach the pinnacle of what God had for me. And one thing that I think that I started doing was not disregarding my broken pieces. I had to start mending those broken pieces, because within those pieces, we leave room and holes for the enemy and for, people sometimes to be able to throw negative thoughts into our life. See, sometimes we're taught just to move on, go to the next thing, right? When something bad happens, just forget about it and you're good. Just move on to the next thing. Not understanding without reconciling those areas in our life, not without going back, without forgiving, without, giving ourselves grace in those areas of our life and mending those broken pieces and making that fortress, that wall in our life, that those negative thoughts have no room to penetrate
Yeah.
and to have no rule over our soul. That is so imperative. And so when I talk to people about their internal being, about having negative thoughts, I often tell them is sometimes you have to go back to move forward. You have to make sure that you mend those broken areas. And sometimes it happens alone, right? Sometimes you have to go in that secret closet by yourself and go into prayer and fasting by yourself and start mending. Sometimes you need community. You need people to come around you and support you at your lowest, because you can't do it on your own. And so it's just recognizing that it's okay to go back, to go forward. We don't have to be in such a rush in our lives to move on to the next thing. Oh, that next business venture, that next accomplishment, that next thing. I'm just gonna brush off that negative thing off my shoulders and move on. Let's fix that area. Let's make sure that fortress is strong. So when I do move on across this journey, knowing that temptation and trials and tribulations are going to come, I'm a little bit stronger, so they're not going to affect me as they would before. So that's what I would say. That's something that I've had to live through, dealing with having a scar on my face and worrying about appearance and what people would think, and dealing with physical ailments from my accident. Those are things that I had to, internalize, but then realizing that that was what's going to build me and make me stronger to be the man I am today. That's something that I'm grateful for.
Man, sometimes you gotta move back to move forward. Boy, that stuck with me.
Man, that's a word right there. I can't even lie. Like just hearing that like is real because at the end of the day, we don't talk enough about our trauma. And like he said, and it really pointed out to me when he said that we just say we gotta keep it moving, we gotta keep it moving, we gotta keep it moving. But at what point do we stop and understand that the things that we go through that when we're younger affects us when we're older? A lot of times we don't realize why we act the way we act and the whole time is because of something that happened when we was younger. We say,
Trauma.
"Oh, we don't know how to love somebody." Well, sometimes we don't know how to love somebody because we was never loved. We didn't get that love that we thought that was normal. Or we seen a love in front of us that was so toxic that we don't even trust relationships no more. We can't even commit ourselves, or we feel like that's the only way that we can show love if we act like that, or that's the only way that I seen love being displayed. So that's how I display love, and people don't understand that until we talk about how that affected us in our past, we won't realize how that is currently affecting us in our future. So that was something that definitely like really genuinely stuck out to me because if you don't if you don't heal from your old traumas, you will never move forward. You will
Yeah.
never move forward. You will constantly keep going back in the same cycle, wondering why my life is not working. Why am I not achieving? Why am I not happy? Why am I because you got years and years of trauma that you constantly been suppressed to the point where you ready to explode at any moment. You ready to snap.
Yep.
You ready to explode because you don't have nobody to talk to. And that's why we need to push mental health like programs
Right.
into our community. We gotta talk to somebody. We grew up learning, oh, don't tell nobody what's going on behind these closed doors.
Nah, but I was gonna
No.
say the same thing. Like that's big in our community. Like
Hey,
Yeah.
not being in
Like,
tune with your emotions and like
yeah.
like a lot of us don't know when we're mad. A lot of us don't know when we're frustrated. A lot of us don't know when we're sad and
Yeah.
depressed. And I noticed that when I'm going through my depressive moments, that I find it hard to get up, and I find my energy levels low, and I'm like, there go that thing. Like maybe you need to take a day off, go to the beach, go do this, go do that. Like, as men, like I think that we need to really like promote, taking the time off for our mental health because, that's not something we promote. We promote go out and get it and go, you got bills to pay and by any means necessary and, only the strong survive. Those are the things that we promote. You get what I'm saying? Like, and, we don't promote, taking a day to yourself and self care. We don't promote. Now I feel like we're promoting those things now a lot more: meditation and yoga and self care and those things. Like you see all type of different nonprofits and people groups doing different things in our community, but it has not always been like that. Like if you were on the playground meditating in the grass, like 9 times out of 10 somebody was making fun of you. Like you get
Yeah.
what I'm saying? So and I think that the next thing is like influencing our kids to, you get what I'm saying, the generation under us to to be exposed to this. Like my daughter, she stretches, meditate. We listen to a lot of meditation music and things like that. That way when she gets older, those things aren't weird. You get what I'm saying? She's exposed to that. You get what I'm saying? So I think that's important.
You
yes,
just really I'm sorry, but you just really just pointed something out to me about helping the younger generation. See, and I'm an elementary school teacher, so me teaching third grade, it was certain times where I had to bring the class in for recess, and they wild, and I'm like, wait a minute, let's take a step back. Let's actually like focus on our breathing real quick. Let's meditate. And the kids was, what is this? What is this? And it was like teaching them like it's other ways to calm yourself down instead of just sitting there balling your fist up and breathing hard and puffing your chest. Like it's so many
Right.
ways to handle your situations,
We don't
and
even realize
I,
we don't breathe right.
hey,
no, no,
We
no,
don't take deep.
genuinely,
We don't breathe in our nose, out our mouth, big deep
yeah,
breath. Like we don't
no,
like.
we like,
We holding our breath
yep,
half of the day.
yeah. And another thing that really that stood out is one thing that I tell my kids is, and the things that separate me from the other teachers at my school, and I love my teachers at my school because again, it's my old elementary school, so most of them are old teachers. But one thing that I love about me that's different is the fact that I let them solve their issues. Oh no, y'all gotta learn now. Because if I'm sitting here all day, every day, sitting in front of y'all solving all y'all issues, Y'all will never understand how to successfully solve a problem. When I see problems in the class, I say, okay, well, how you about to handle it? How is this the solution? What is the solution? What could you do right here? And then they telling me. It's to the point where now we got the kids correcting the kids, like, hold on, that ain't the way to do that. You shouldn't do it like this. You shouldn't do, and they protect each other. And I created a family environment because I taught them how to do conflict resolution. And it's crazy because one time my principal, she seen like my kids starting to get frustrated and all that. She looking at me like, you're not gonna stop it? I said, watch this. Whole time she watching it, and next thing you know, they just start solving the problem. They just start like, okay, well, maybe if we do it like this, we won't both be mad at each other, and we can just take turns. I'm like, and that's teaching 8 and 9 year olds how to do simple conflict resolution that they're gonna take for the rest of their lives. Knowing how to calm down. I have students that sit there and flat out would go back the next day and push somebody at recess just because it happened yesterday and they thought about it. And I teach them like, no, just because you think about something, son, eventually that's gonna be called premeditated. You don't want to do nothing like that.
Man,
So it's like being able to teach them stuff like that at a younger age, so they know how to be able to talk and express themselves and say, look, I feel like this when you did this, instead of going straight to fighting and going straight into being elevated. I teach them a 3 minute rule. Tell me if you're mad in 3 minutes.
So,
Because most people don't be
fact.
mad after 3 minutes. So tell me after 3 minutes if you still feel the same way, and then we can address it. But if you don't, and you going back to normal and everything gonna be good, we're not about to waste time in this in class. And I've saved so much time in my classroom once I simply just taught them how to just simply handle
I'm
issues
30 years
themselves, and
old
we
and
ain't
I'm
gotta
learning.
stop. Man.
That's so important. And I just want to jump in real quick. Like, you especially teaching them and having them at that young age, that conflict resolution. How many times have we seen people probably when we were in K through 12 and even in college just, crash out over a situation or just do something crazy just out of impulse, right?
Yeah.
Having that impulse control, having that emotional intelligence
No
of, how do
preservation.
you read the room? How do you like, regulate how I'm feeling in my emotions, right? Not negating your emotions, right? Because we all, it's a natural feeling and everybody's emotions are important, but how to regulate them and how to know when to, to let them rise and when okay, I need to take it down some. How can I make sure that my message is conveyed and can be heard instead of not interpreted as I'm angry, I'm mad, or taken as something else. And so I think that is so important to the way that our children communicate, not only to adults and authority, but then also, how they communicate to each other, right? Because if they can solve conflicts between each other, right? It might be, oh, Johnny got my pencil and I want my pencil back, right? It could be something simple that like that. But as they grow up and as they mature, that's going to follow them, right? Train up a child as they should go, and they shall not depart from it. And so having that, I think, is so crucial for our youth, and some of our adults need it too.
man, look. First and foremost, I want to commend you fellas for passing this knowledge down to the youth, man, because this brings me back to my childhood. My pops, right after my pops passed away when I was 5 years old, I had a interventionist in elementary school. His name was Mr. Culver, and he just passed away a few years. OG, he was real old school, and he taught me how to rechannel my anger. He asked me, well, what is the main, like, what do your hands do when you get mad? And I looked at it, I was mad. I seen the fist, and he said, release. Then he talked about the breathing. Well, what are you doing right now with your mouth and your nose? And he said, breathe. And he taught me how to rechannel my anger, man. I was tearing the school up at 5, 6 years old, man. But it was people like Mr. Culver who literally changed the trajectory of my life because he taught me at a very important age emotional intelligence and how to use this to control this. And so I commend you, brothers, definitely for passing that knowledge down. We definitely need it. Emotional intelligence is something that I don't want to generalize, but that's really something that a lot of us have not been taught. And so, very important that we continue to spread this information. And like I've seen one person in the comments say, each one teach one. Question 3, fellas. Question 3. What advice would you give men who are currently struggling with negative thoughts?
um, I want to say, if you're having a bad day, go home If you gotta cry, cry. If you gotta go out, work out. But once you do that, get yourself together. Put your head up. Put your shoulders back. Understand your worth, and know that someone else's inability to see your worth doesn't diminish your value. Keep your head up. Understand that the only way that you can fail is if you give up.
Yep.
But if you constantly keep going back and you constantly keep handling business, there is absolutely nothing that can stop you from achieving what you want to achieve. When you set a goal, understand that there will be obstacles. Understand that there will be trials and tribulations. But don't ever feel as if you have to give up because something is getting too hard.
Right.
Life is going to get difficult. And it's okay to feel that heat. Like it's okay. I mean, you put your hand to a fire, you gonna feel the heat. But no matter what you do, you can bend but never fold. Never fold. And you're gonna be all right. That's
Gonna
my
be.
advice.
I'm gonna jump in and just say like from my experiences, when I'm going through stuff like naturally, I think this is with almost all of us. Like you just want to sit, just want to stay, don't want to move, but that's the wrong thing to do. You gotta move. You gotta keep pushing forward by any means necessary. You get what I'm saying? And like it's just like in my situation when this all happened to me in 2017. Like if I stayed in that place where I was mentally in 2017, I would have still been in that place. Um, it wasn't a yellow brick road. It was days that I was doing great moving. Then it was days where I absolutely failed. You get what I'm saying? It's literally like a roller coaster ride, like Goliath or something, like and it's literally ups and downs. You get what I'm saying? Some days you're gonna feel like you got it. Some days you're not gonna feel like, and that's okay. But the thing to do is to keep moving, even when like, and you feel like I don't got this. You gotta keep moving. It don't matter if it's something simple like waking up, taking a shower, brushing your teeth, making your bed, fixing some food. You gotta move. And then you can work on trying to go to work, trying to take care of other people, trying to do all the other things. You get what I'm saying? But it doesn't matter what you're moving towards as long as you're moving from the smallest things to the biggest things. You get what I'm saying? Sometimes, I feel like even, when you start a business, they like, oh, well, I wanted to start a clothing line, but, I haven't. You just got to start. You know what I'm saying? It ain't gonna be a perfect time. There's never gonna be a perfect scenario. The time is never gonna be right. You get what I'm saying? So with that knowledge, you gotta just know and be aware. You get what I'm saying? And just you gotta take that leap of faith. And I feel like once you do that, once you take a leap of faith and you take that risk, you get what I'm saying? The biggest risk reaps the biggest rewards. You get what I'm saying? Oftentimes, you get what I'm saying? So I always encourage people just to take that leap of faith and just jump, eyes closed, and just believe. You get what I'm saying? And you might smack the ground, but that's all right. Like I told my daughter the other day, you got to get up. It's about getting up. It ain't about falling. It's about getting up.
Keep moving.
I definitely think, especially that keep moving, that touched me, and I think that's so important to building discipline, right? Sometimes when we do feel like negative thoughts are trying to kick at us or try to creep in, they're trying to attack our discipline and our consistency of what we're trying to do or accomplish. And so I think whether it is like making sure that you make up your bread, make sure you're making up your bed every day, instead of eating out, make sure, oh, I'm gonna cook dinner, Monday through Friday, right? Or I'm gonna make sure if I'm going into work, let me make sure that, I dress my best, right? I'm gonna get up, make sure that my clothes are ironed. I'm gonna do those things to kind of continue to build those consistencies in my life, right? Even though they're very small to some people, right? If you're continuing to build those small things and show that I can continue to do this over a time period, that's going to help you in the long run when you're trying to accomplish that big goal, starting
Yeah.
that business, starting that new job,
Don't build
moving
the
to a new
wall.
place.
Lay the brick.
Lay the brick. right?
Don't
And
build
you
the
got to keep
wall.
on.
All of us, we try to build the wall. You gotta lay the
Yep,
brick every
you
day.
got
Come
to
back, lay one brick.
every single day, right? And it takes yourself really dedicating to, okay, I'm gonna do this day. I'm gonna do this one day at a time. I'm not in a rush. I'm not trying to build the wall of China in one day, right? I'm not trying to build this platform, this $1 million platform in one day. I'm gonna take it day by day, but I'm gonna be consistent and I'm gonna give myself 100% of the time. And also think it also helps if you have an accountability partner, right? If you have a person that you like to go to the gym with, or someone that you love to do Bible study with, or do anything with, have that accountability partner with you. You don't got to tell them all your personal business, all right? Sometimes some things you do need to keep to yourself, but then have that person where you can confide in and you can talk to um, about your discipline, about your consistency, because it takes a village.
Hey, right here, I got it on right now. Victory lap, y'all see it.
Oh yeah,
Nip said it the best. It's the marathon, man.
it's a
You gotta
marathon.
pace yourself. You can burn yourself out so easy,
Mhm.
Yes.
and that's something that I experienced. Being so passionate about my brands and my businesses, and just wanting to go, 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 go. I woke up one day and I'm like, you're not happy. Like you don't have no work life balance. You get what I'm saying? All you have is everything that you put into your brands and your business. You take that away, what do you have?
Pick
You
up
get
a
what I'm saying?
hobby.
No balance. You get what I'm saying? No pace. I just went out there, they shot the gun, and you know what I'm saying? And I'm like, wait, I got 100 yards down the thing, and I'm like, wait, y'all said a mile? I gotta go around 4 times? I'm like, hold on, let me slow down, like, so that's where I'm at in my life, is slowing down and finding peace and stillness.
What you said was real when you said that you can burn out too fast like that if you don't take time for yourself. A lot of people don't know, and I'm gonna share your story, and y'all gonna get it exclusive. But back in March, back in March, or was it April? I was hospitalized. Um, I was so overwhelmed that I was not taking care of my body. I was put in the hospital. I was hospitalized because when they checked my blood pressure, they said I was at stroke level.
Mm.
Um, I was put on blood pressure medication. As an African American male at 22, I was put on blood pressure medication
Wow.
because I did not take the time to take care of myself and to put myself first. I was constantly around that time, I was getting my kids prepared for a step competition because I'm the district step coach while still adapting to being a teacher, while still finishing my master's degree, while still running for office, while still working for a nonprofit. So it was like a whole lot on a whole lot, and I was being everything for everybody but myself. I didn't take that time to genuinely care for myself and to say, wait a minute, I need to step back and I need to breathe. I need to reflect and understand what I'm doing and how it's taking a toll on my body. And I wasn't putting me first. And we have to understand that it's okay to be selfish sometimes. It's okay to be selfish. It's okay to put you first. It's okay to say I don't have the capacity to do that right now. I don't have the capacity to hear that right now. Sometimes people don't realize. Sometimes just hearing people's drama can be draining. Like it's okay to tell people, look, I don't have the mental capacity to hear what you got to say right now about this same drama you've been talking to me about.
Man,
Like it's okay to say that. It's okay. It's okay to say, look, I can't do it right now. I can't unpack that. I don't
Yeah.
have the mental capacity to unpack that right now. But I will say, when you get stuff thrown on you, it's brick on top of brick. It's a bunch of bricks weighing on you. And if you ain't got nobody like you think, like you said, that accountability partner is real heavy. If you don't got nobody to unload that bricks, you just walking around with other people bricks, with your bricks, you just weighing down. And physically you gonna see that too. You gonna see yourself slouched down, tired, overwhelmed, barely can sleep, but you gotta keep moving. You feel like you ain't sleepy, but then you sleepy at the same time. It's all types of stuff that end up happening when you start to not put yourself first. It just constantly just go on autopilot and just keep running and just running. That's not a good thing. So take time for yourselves. And anybody who's hearing this message, please take time for yourself because you never know when your body is ready to just stop. Some of our best people has lost their lives because they simply did not know when to stop.
Yes.
If you die tomorrow, you can't help nobody,
Right.
Yeah,
and that's what we don't
Yep.
realize.
yeah.
Like we try to break our backs and kill ourselves trying to help people, and it's just like, bro, like I can't be an asset to my daughter if I'm not here. Like, you
Right.
know, as much as I want to do this and do that and take her to the aquarium and do this to zoo and that and teach her and ABCs and all of that, like, I'm like, you know, yeah, it's only 7 days in a week. You need to pace yourself. You know what I'm saying? So,
Man,
it was a good question in here. I don't know if y'all, like, if it was, somebody asked, my boy Bab from Tuskegee, he's a HBCU grad too. He said, how you deal with negative surroundings? I feel like that's a big thing.
Oh yeah.
You know, a surrounding. I be feeling like a lot of us feel like we're stuck in our surroundings. Like, but I feel like I don't know if you want to touch on that or whatnot. Like, but I looked at that question. I was like, yeah, that's a good question.
It is.
that's great, man. I something that I do with negative surrounding, depending on which surrounding it is, man. A lot of times you have to, and I think we touched a little on this with the not last week, but 2 weeks ago, the last episode that we had. Sometimes you gotta build those boundaries by one communication, but also just understanding who you are and what your threshold can take. If you are self-aware and you know if I go out to the club or if I surround myself with this many people at this time of the day, or if I go to work without doing this, that, and the other, and I know that I'm going to have a bad day or whatever, if I do this, that, you know how to combat whatever situation you're put in because you are self-aware and you know what you can and cannot handle. What y'all think?
Um, I would say, be careful of your circle. Everybody is don't have your best interest at heart.
Man,
Understand that. It took me a minute. I know that I done went years and years of friendships with people that didn't mean me no good. Be careful who you're around. Understand that that whole saying that everybody is not meant to go on your journey is real. It might sound sad, it might sound depressing, it might sound like, oh no, everybody around me solid. I promise you, they not, they not. There's some people who will be in your face for years and whole time wish you nothing but ill will.
yeah.
Understand simply that sometimes people are only there for a season. Everybody is not meant to be there for the rest of your life,
Mm-hmm.
but appreciate everybody as a lesson because sometimes people only come in your life to teach you a lesson. And
Yeah.
that's where you thank them and you keep it moving. Understand that, again, when you set them boundaries, stand on them. Stand on them. Because, again, people are real wicked out here. And you got to understand that to protect your mental, to protect yourself, you got to be aware of that. You got to understand that. So, if anything, like any advice really that I would give on protecting your energy is, again, everybody is not worth your time. Everybody don't deserve your time. Everybody don't deserve a conversation. I'm not trying to make it seem like y'all, we the Jackson Five or something, or we up top tier, keeping up with the Joneses. I ain't saying none of that. I'm just saying everybody is not worth your time.
In the most humblest
Yes.
way possible.
Like,
Yeah.
simple as that.
No, but
That's one of them sentences you got to finish that in the most humblest way.
Simple as way.
but that's so real. Like you can't, your circle is so important in the people that you surround yourself because it can derail you off of your promise and your future and your blessing. The people that surround you, right? And sometimes you have to pray, God, remove people that are not aligned with your will and put people in my life that are aligned with your will and what you have for me. Because I said earlier to make sure you test the fruits that other people bear, right, in your life. What are people talking to you about? What are your daily conversations with that person? Is it upstanding? Is it something that you can look to and say, "Hey, this is where I want to be one day," or is it something that's kind of destructive, right? Or is it just something that's temporary, right? A good feeling for the moment, but it could cost me in the end, right? I might not feel good the next day, right? And so look back to your friends' conversations. Look back to, where y'all go, what y'all do, right? The activities, right? Is the conversation always surrounding around something that is really not helping you? Maybe it's something that you've been trying to pray out of your life, something that you've been trying that you really don't want to do, and that you're trying to remove yourself, but you always kind of circle back because that group is always down the ride to do that. You need to reevaluate who you're hanging out with, who you're spending your time with. And it's not to, demean them, and you don't, just start cussing them out and just trying to, go after them, but just, quietly remove yourself, right? Time will tell, time will show them while you're removing yourself. And then speaking about, just surroundings in general, sometimes you have to, jump off the porch, right? I made one of the biggest transitions in my life after graduating from A&T. I moved from hometown Raleigh, North Carolina. I grew up in North Carolina, went to school in North Carolina in Greensboro. Now I'm living in Orlando, Florida. This is a whole different area. Have no family down here, but I believe it was for a reason, and I kind of have a good feeling why that reason was, and I needed to kind of be be out of the place of where I was and around the people that I was at that time. And so don't be afraid to jump off the porch, right? If you feel like you're led to be able to go to another location or another place, right? It doesn't have to be a physical another state, but it may be another job, another, friend group. Don't be afraid to jump off the porch with faith. You're going to land.
Yeah. Man, I hate to cut this conversation short, brother, but man, y'all gave us some great knowledge today. Great knowledge. Before we get off, because I know we got a few more minutes until it's 9, tell the people just a little bit about yourself, what y'all do, and who y'all are before y'all leave.
I, I started off. What's the deal? For those who don't know me, my name is Rich. Everybody call me Walking Rich. That's my handle, my platform. I have a brand called Walking Rich. What that means, to each his own. For me, I choose to walk rich in, faith and perseverance, but to each his own. Just because we choose to value different things, who's to say one's rich and one's not? We're all rich in our own way. I was shot and paralyzed in 2017 in Jacksonville, Florida, a month after I graduated from the illustrious Tuskegee University. And, this has been my journey since then. And, God's blessed me with perspective, and he's blessed me with a beautiful baby girl. He's blessed me with businesses, and a lot of times, people always ask me like, if you had, a chance to take it back, would you take it all back? If I have to give back, my baby girl, my perspective, and all these different things, I wouldn't change a thing, man.
My
And
name
that's
is
a great
Daniel Bron-
and that's a great feeling to be in, where you go through something where you thought your life was over with, and you thought you couldn't see out of it, and you like, and then you get to a place you like, yeah, I'm here, what's up?
Like, nothing like experiencing a song that a rapper say, nothing like losing it all, then getting it all back. And I feel like that journey of that roller coaster
You
ride,
like, I'm
it
indestructible.
takes so many different routes, but we see that you with positive spirits, man. And glad to have you on. Great story. Keep striving to be the best you can be.
Yeah, thank you for having me, man. I definitely enjoyed the conversation, and I appreciate all you guys sharing your perspective, and y'all just sharing y'all the way you guys think, and I'm sure people and myself is gonna be helped by this conversation.
Well, definitely. My name is Daniel Bryant. I went to North Carolina A&T State University, business management grad, and I do business within the community. Call me Motivated and Empowered. I do public speaking, helping others unlock their personal development. And their personal goals and aspirations through the power of Christ, and just continuing my walk, helping those who I can, and being a vessel for God to use. So, God bless you all. And thank you for this great conversation, brothers. This is going to help somebody. This is going to help somebody. And so uh, don't even think for a moment that you didn't inspire anybody, because you definitely inspired me.
Uh, thank you, brother Brian.
I say I wanted to go last because I feel like I got an extra long bio, but excuse me if I get a little winded. But here we go. I am Kevin Keys the third, MED, because I am a graduate of Miles College. I got my bachelor's degree in political science and then my master's degree from the Texas Southern University, a master's of education in educational administration with a concentration in higher education and human resources. A little else about me is I'm also an educator. I went back to my old elementary school and went to go teach third grade. I'm also a candidate for state representative of the Great Lakes state of Michigan. I am also the founder of the Keys to Success Foundation. And I also have another announcement, but we're going to keep that to Thursday. I cannot wait. But it's a lot more in the making. I'm also the district step coach for the Oak Park School District for the high school step teams and the middle and elementary school as well. So it's a lot about me. I do a lot of other stuff too. It's got a lot of different certifications from a lot of different other places and things of that nature. But I'm just genuinely, my favorite job is being a vessel for the Lord and Savior, and just constantly spreading the word and just saying how good He is, and just constantly just being that bright light that He say that I can be. So that's me. And if you want to know anything else about me, check out my website, www.keys2success24.org. Again, we are looking for donors, volunteers, and everything to help with the campaign. So if you want to just reach out and just say hi, I'm always here to listen to anyone. So that's my spiel.
Well, Keys, man, it's always a pleasure. Always a pleasure to have you. Long bio, man, I tell you. I'm Junior, your host from the I Love Jackson State University. I am a professor, coach, historian, author. So I'm actually writing a book at this very moment, The History of Jackson State from 1970 to present day. If you are interested in interviewing to give me your experiences at Jackson State from that period, the Google form to give me your information is in the bio of Historically Black Sense. Let's go ahead and close out, fellas. It's been fun, but I got to run. That's what Abe Brown say. Shout out to Abe Brown. He was not able to be here today. I had to step in and host. Like he say, it's been fun, but I got to run. I want to once again say thank you to the guests for joining us tonight and everyone who was watching the show. Be sure to check us out right here on Historically Black Sense every Sunday, 8 p.m. Eastern Time, where HBCU culture resides and thrives. In the meantime, keep the conversation going and continue to create safe spaces where men can relate, relax, and release. Once again, I'm Derek Wilmore, your host. I'll see y'all next Sunday. Peace out.